So I watched Alice in Borderland with my teenage son. That's a Netflix series. It's based on a very popular manga. Um, and it was kind of dumb, but also kind of great, which I think if you're looking for something to watch, like an entertainment, not you could hardly do better than Alice in Borderland. If you're expecting some sort of highfalutin, life-enriching, um, philosophically nutritious story, I think it's gonna be a near miss, maybe even a more than a near miss. But we really enjoyed it. We enjoyed when it was dumb, and we enjoyed when it was good, which is the hallmark of great entertainment, you know? Interestingly, I've been talking to a couple of my subscribers, Charles and Matt, about mobility, and somehow this morning that got muddied with thoughts I was having about Alice in Borderland, which I know sounds really dumb maybe. But there it is anyway. I'm not in charge of my thoughts. I know people think they are, but you're not. And I got to thinking about life as a game. And what would be the point of the game of life, you know? And this speaks to training. Why do some of us at least feel compelled to engage in training at all? If you really think about it objectively, it doesn't make a ton of sense. So why? Well, my little baby epiphany this morning was maybe the point of this game of life isn't to achieve optimal results. Maybe it's the only game that you write the rules of it by playing. And the point of the game is to come up with the best user's manual, the best rule book possible by the end. Now, results would be a part of that, right? Which is why we test. And they're not the training is testing, really, right? And as you run tests, you accumulate data. And that data is then used to create hypothesis to develop rules for your game. Bullet points for your user's manual for this meat machine. I think mobility is like that. I think mobility, I was talking to Charles about it earlier, I think mobility is maybe one of the only avenues of athletic training where you can approach it casually, lazily, and still really fuck yourself up. You know? You can hurt yourself doing anything athletic, but you have to typically you have to have kind of a serious mindset. Whereas you can approach a very lazy, half-cocked mobility routine and really hurt yourself, you know? And that's part of mobility's charm to me. I think my right hip is fucked. I will almost certainly need a hip replacement at some point. And I did that. I did that to myself doing Ashtanga yoga, you know? Nobody hurt me. There was no accident. It wasn't a mistake. I did it on purpose. I didn't want that result, but the movement I did was entirely deliberately. And that's awesome. I love that, actually. And now part of my game has become, how do I stay out of hip surgery, right? Am I even going to be able to? Probably it's impossible. But I'm learning so much through the process. And you might be wondering then, hey man, maybe you should stop squatting every day if you got a shitty hip. No. No. I know that probably seems logical to you. But the squatting's nutritious. And I don't know how to convince you that I'm right about this, but it is. And anyway, it's my game. It's my user's manual. And you've got your own to play. And worry about your rules, right? Like, you got a big enough problem on your hands. And yeah, maybe that's all I wanted to say today. Coming up next, I'm going to do some squats and then overhead press. And I don't know, I'm going to goof off too. I'm going to do some goof off stuff today. I got the whole day, so why not? Stay tuned. 50% altar, 50% operating table. That's what I'm driving at here, you know? This is my church. I'm putting down sacrifices. I'm set to worship. But also, it's an autopsy. I'm trying to discover, I'm trying to get inside the meats and figure out how they work and why they work and what it's all about. And that's like more pseudo-philosophical nonsense and kind of a childish romantic rant bait, you know? But also, and this part's important, I actually believe that. like I genuinely feel like that's what I'm doing for real. Like, I'm at worship here. This is my only sacred place. And I'm trying to ferret out the big questions, the meaning of life. Like, who are we? What are we? Why are we here? Why were we born? Did we ask to be born? You know, and I don't know where to start with figuring out stuff like that. Nobody does. Seemingly nobody's gotten anywhere with this, right? But like, this is what I have access to. These are my tools, you know? This equipment and this body. And if I can understand it in its minutest subdivision, then maybe I can cascade that understanding into something else. Like, I talk about this all the time, but the yogis in the yamas and niyamas have this principle, svadhyaya, which just means self-study. And it's like, you'd think self-study is like, know thyself kind of stuff. But in yoga, it's a little different, you know? Obviously, the know thyself, that's part of it. But also, you're studying the minutia, the little things. Why does your foot hurt? Why do your teeth hurt? Why is your eyesight dimming? Are there things you can do to affect change in this? Can you make your eyesight worse? Can you make it better? All movement of the needle is interesting. And you're putting together a picture in your mind as detailed as possible of how this thing's going to work in reality. You know? It's like an imagination image of who you are, as accurate and detailed as possible. This is bonus footage. I just threw it in there. My shoulders were pretty fried, but I thought, what the hell? It's a beautiful day. I'll go outside. I'll take my shirt off. I'll throw 75 pounds overhead. Just see what it feels like. The left was fighting me something fierce. This isn't a very challenging weight for me normally, but today, it was giving me fits. And like, that's exciting. And that's interesting. And yeah, today was pretty scattered, but I love you guys. Be good to each other, okay?